chop up this D'Angelo joint. I was chopping this D'Angelo shit, and let's see. Pull it up here. Let's see this shit right here, nigga.
Is that for the new album?
Nope. Shit, it's a version of shoot the shit out of me. What's that rich motherfucker that owns Virgin? Richard Branson? With the white hair, the nigga be like, excuse me, Roddy Rod? Me and D'Angelo were wondering if you could pay us. I started off DJing, had 2 turntables, those exact 2 turntables over there, by the way. My man Boomer, big up to my man Boomer in Springfield, Mass. He put me down, and he's the first person that put me on a sampler. It was a Sonic Emax, and that was the first sample I put my hands on. No, I take that back. It was actually the Sonic Mirage, because he had both. But that was, you know, the first time I did sampling. You know what I'm saying? I was 15 years old, and he put me on that joint. He was like, "Yo, you know, you DJ. This is just the next step. It's a progression. You're gonna go into this." And then I ain't looked back since. You know what I mean? Like, I always was DJing, but the sampler. Once I got the sampler, it was like, this is it. This is it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Boomer put me on that. That was, you know what I mean, 90, 89. That was actually 88. 1988. You know what I mean? Put my hands on the first sample. Yeah.
Alright, talk about the production you did for Mass Pike.
Mass Pike. Lord.
For people who don't know.
You know what I'm saying? The Mass Pike, you know, the whole Mass Pike anthology, from its inception till present day, I produced all the stuff. Mass Pike consisted of Hanif Jamil, H-Bomb Boogie, and Todd Bleak, which are both of my cousins. I did all the music. You know, that was our group. You know what I mean? In high school, that's when we really formed. We started opening up for Tribe and Leaders of the New School, EPMD, Kwame, Redhead Kingpin at the time. And we did all these shows, and I was doing all the beats. I was doing the beats on the Sonic Mirage. I used to loop up the samples on the Sonic Mirage, and then I used to have a Boss DR660 Dr. Rhythm joint, and I used to trigger off the MIDI from the Dr. Rhythm to the sounds that were in the Mirage. You know what I mean? Kind of similar to how people do the SP1200 and the S950. I was doing that within Sonic Mirage and the Boss, the R660. 95, I started using SP1200, but I didn't own one yet. I was just using one in the studio, and I got to learn it in the studio, and it was the same thing. I had the SP1200, and I chop up the samples. SP1200. If I had longer samples, I used the Mirage. The Static album was the last album that I used SP1200, and it's also the first album that I used the MPC 1000. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can thank Kev for that one. Thanks, Kev Brown, for the fucking MPC 1000. I hated that fucking machine, and the only reason I hated it is because it was the learning curve that was fucking me up, and the pads. I would go over to Kev's house and mess with the 2000, or I'd go to Cambridge's house, mess with the 2000 XL, and I come back to my house and I gotta use this bullshit ass 1000, and the pads weren't the same, the velocity wasn't the same, it was just a piece of shit. So I missed my SP 1200 at the time because I sold it, you know, and I got the 1000, which was a dumb move. But so yeah, that's how that went. And then from the 1000, I graduated to the 2500, and I'm content because it has all the same feelings that the 2000 XL has, and then it has, you know, some extra little shit. But I'm content with that one. Like I ain't cursed at that one yet, you know, like I did the 1000. Fuck the 1000. DJ Scratch, you know, a lot of people don't mention his name, but like all the EPMD stuff that was coming out at the time when Scratch was doing some stuff, like I always loved his production from the first time I heard his stuff. Like I always loved it. Of course, Dilla, you know, Dilla is you know, he's pretty much in the same vein as a Scratch. 45 King, that's what really got me amped up about doing beats, is when I heard Wrath of My Madness, Queen Latifah joint, and then like 45 King, they never mentioned his name, but he was a beast, you know, back in those days. You know, he still is, you know what I mean, but he was killing them. No ID, Lord Finesse, you know what I'm saying, my crew, you know what I'm saying, Camber, Kev, Odyssey, Kenwood. Like, those are my favorite motherfuckers now. Who would I produce? J Electronica. He could really take a beat somewhere. For Sean out of Cali. Pretty tight. Blue. Fat Cat. I always like Fat Cat, man. That's just like, you know, and he ain't really new, you know what I mean? He been out for a minute, so I shouldn't even say that, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of new cats that are pretty tight, that I wouldn't mind producing for. Elzai. I mean, there's a lot.
Check it out. 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 Check it out.
That was sloppy. You gotta let me see that before you cut that shit.
Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah.
It's the restless change and the roads we made.
I'm gonna make a quick beat. Quick little simple. That and then something like this. Sound like a real.
y'all. When it comes down to doing it, I might get life for them bars. Run with a squad, but do dirt.